In this video, I'm going to talk about circles and how you can use the standard form of an equation of a circle to figure out the center and the radius of that circle. And those are kind of the key things to know, because if you know where the center of a circle is, so let's say you know the center is at 2 comma 1, and you know that it has a radius of 2, let's say, it means you would go 2 away from that center in any direction. And I'm just kind of doing the straight up, down, left, right, because that's easy. Basically connect those points into the shape of a circle. That's a little bit of a wiggly circle, but that's the idea. So the center and the radius are the key things to know. Um, so this is the equation in standard form that helps you pretty readily get that center and radius. So the center is going to be at HK. The radius is r. So the equation gives you r squared. You've got to take the square root of that to get r. So just a quick example of this. Suppose we had an equation that was x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 100. I'm just going to put this as just an example. So the center of that circle is going to be at h comma k. And h and k are the opposite signs of what's in here. So our h is going to be -2 because we got to do the opposite sign. K, it's written as a -3, so the actual location is going to be at +3. So the center of this circle is at -2 comma 3. The radius of this circle, so this number here is telling us r squared. We have to take the square root of that. So the radius is going to be the square root of 100, which is equal to 10. So those are our two key features about this circle. But what if the equation is not in standard form? So if we have something like x squared plus y squared minus 10x plus 6y equals 2, let's say. So something like that. It's not in this standard form where we have, the x minus h squared, y minus k squared, r squared. So we have to get into that form. Once we get it in that form, then we can again pick out what is the center, what is the radius. So here are some steps. I'm going to go through them to kind of, explain a little more. They're all based on the idea that if we have, so let's say we have I'll just use x and h. If we do x minus h squared, if we would work that out, like FOIL it, we're going to get x squared minus 2hx plus h squared. So this is the key, is whatever's in front of our x, we're going to consider that to be our 2h. But then we're getting this extra h squared piece that we're going to have to account for. So we're kind of adding some extra onto the left-hand side. We have to also add that to the right-hand side. So that's what we're using as the basis of this. And I kind of explained it step by step in these 4 steps here. So first thing is get all the terms with x squared, y squared, x and y to one side of the equal sign and all the constants to the other. That's already done. The way I wrote this equation, we already had that. Let's say we had some y's over here, we would add or subtract appropriately to get them to the other side. But right now that part is done. So now I think it just makes it easier to group the x terms and the y terms together. So x terms together, y terms together. So what I mean here is I'm going to do x squared minus 10x plus y squared plus 6y. So I mean, they were already on the same side of the equals. I'm just grouping these things together and these things together just to make it easier. So we've got that done. Now we're getting to the little bit trickier part. We're going to go to this using this idea that a plus b squared is a squared, 2ab plus b squared, to get these forms that we need for standard form. So I know I want to have x plus or minus something squared. That something is going to be half of whatever's in front of my x. So here it's going to be a 5. So I have x minus 5 squared, because if I do this, it's going to give me x squared minus 2 times 5 times x plus 5 squared. And this is x squared minus 10x. That's the key. That's what I wanted to get was that 10x. But I have this extra plus 25. So what I'm going to do is over here where I already have my 2, I'm going to write an extra plus 25 because I essentially added it over here. So I also need to add it there to keep everything equal. Um, Same idea with the y. So I'm going to take my y plus something squared. Again, the something is going to be half of this number, so it's going to be a 3. But when I do this, square that 3, I'm going to have an extra 9. So again, to keep things in balance, if I'm making it y plus 3 squared, I have an extra 9 on the left-hand side. I also have to add that 9 to the right-hand side. So now we're really close. Um, so just going through what I have written here. So I put the x terms and the y terms into this form. To do that, I took half of the coefficient of x and half of the coefficient of y. That's where I got my minus 5 and my plus 3. Then I had to add that extra. So the h squared and the k squared, I had to add that to the right-hand side. So that's where I have the plus 25 and the plus 9. So now I'm just going to simplify things a little. So I have my x minus 5 squared, y plus 3 squared. I can add all these together. So 2 plus 25 is 27, plus 9 is 36. And now I have this, I'm just going to go back to the top. I have it in this proper form. So I can tell what my center is with the h and the k. I can tell what my radius is because the number by itself is the r squared. So my center is going to be at 5 comma negative 3, because remember I'm doing opposite signs of what's here. So 5, negative 3. My radius is the square root of 36, which is 6. And that's it. So we had to take this non-standard form, get it into standard form. Once we did that, we could find the center and the radius pretty readily. So that is all for that one. Thank you.